Good morning. I think we're live. We'll let some more people get logged on. If you can hear me and if you're willing to be interactive, if you give me a number 1 in the chat box, just let me know whether or not I sound audibly clear or not. Again, number 1 in the chat box. Tony, okay, thank you, Tony. If I could get a few others, that's always beneficial. Sky, good morning. Hey, Labradabra, sounds good. Thank you very much. Sky, I assume that means I sound good if you're just saying good morning. Friendly reminder, hit that like button if you've been here before. A little discouraging to see likes at 0. Again, if I could get a couple other people to just give me a number 1 in the chat if I sound good, and then we'll get this party started. And there we go, 1 like. That's encouraging. Luis, come on, I should have at least there. All right, there we go. All right. Hey Doc, good to see you. Good morning. All right, well, I'm confident then. Thank you, Luis. I appreciate it. Now we're up to 4 likes. Uh-oh. No data. What's up with that? Can people still hear me? Hello? Hello? My live stream is saying... Okay, now it just went to excellent connection. Did it drop off at all? Because for a minute, on my end, it said no data at all. No, okay, interesting. Okay, well, I'm not quite sure what that means. All right then, cool. Well, welcome everybody to Saturday morning coffee. I'm actually a liar right now. I have 0 beverage. I already drank my coffee this morning. So I don't know what your beverage of choice is, but mine is black coffee, but I do not have it with me. So I guess the entry was, or the title was a little deceiving, but if you've never been here before, the way it works is this is completely viewer driven. If you have a request for a stock chart analysis, Forex chart analysis, futures chart analysis, crypto chart analysis, assuming it's not some bizarre crypto, it's got to be on my platform. If you have a question just about kind of trading in general, if you have a question about prop firms, if you have a question about futures trading, because Monday through Friday, I day trade futures through a prop firm, so that's the main driver of the channel. But on Saturdays, I like to just kind of open it up. And if you have a request for, like I said, maybe you have an investment in a stock that you're wondering what the chart looks like or what have you, then let me know, and we'll do this. But like I said, this is really kind of as long or as short as it wants to be. If nobody has questions or requests, or we don't get into any conversations, then so be it. We'll make this a shorter stream. But if anybody does have any requests, and now would be the time, because eventually, if it's anything like past Saturday live streams, eventually people's requests and start not to get done because other people show up, and then it becomes one of these $5 super chats. So because the $5 super chat does bring it to my attention right away, and I'll get to it right away. But right now, there's no need for $5 super chats because there's not a whole lot of people here. So there we go. Tony took advantage. Let's take a look at CLSK. So we'll start on the daily here for CLSK. So the first thing that immediately pops in my mind on the daily is the purple line here, the 50-day simple moving average. Very, very important level of support, and so far so good. It has, now I'm assuming you're bullish, Tony, but so far so good. The price has continued to respect that level, and that's going to be an area that you want to see the price stay up above moving forward in order to kind of just show that the bulls are slightly making progress, because if you think about it, that is a moving average. So by definition, that line's going to move itself higher and higher. So it's basically an uptrend line that's now drawing itself for you. So as long as the price does stay above an uptrending trend line, well then by definition, that means the price itself is uptrending. So that's where, just from an overarching standpoint, definitely want to see the price stay above that purple line there. And then as far as areas of resistance are concerned, key dynamic here is all about that pink line right there, which is tricky because you've had some false breaks of it. That was a nasty false break. And even earlier on in the week, a nasty false break. So that's one of those areas where the 200-day moving average is the key resistance, but it's a tricky one because just because the price breaks above it, I would be very, very skeptical because the chart is giving you reason to be skeptical, like I said, because of the last two ones. But overall, the chart's grinding higher, making higher lows. That's what you want to see. This lower high right here is a little worrisome. I'm not saying that's the end of the road because, again, the price is above that purple line. But if the price were to come down to the purple line and then break down below it, that's where things can get a bit sketchy. All right. We have, so thank you for the request there. We have Jahan BA. So let's take a look at Boeing. You're welcome, Tony. Boeing overall looking, I don't know where these lines came from. Let me just get rid of those. Overall, Boeing is solid. Keyword there being overall. Who was asking? Jahan. I realize, Jahan, if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought right there, thinking you're playing some momentum breakout, and you're either you're a day trader or a very short-term swing trader, then yes, for you the chart looks is a train wreck. Hopefully you were using a stop loss because the price did indeed pull back quite a bit. But if you do care about the big picture point of view, a couple things to note. Number one, still nicely above the 50-day simple moving average, still way above the 200-day moving average. So the overall trend, the overall drift is still in the upwards direction. And yes, it did pull back here essentially this past week. But again, if you care about the overall perspective, part of that is going to say, okay, fair enough, Clay. Yeah, it did pull back here, but where was it not that long ago? And you could say, well, the price was here and it's made its way all the way up there. So you have kind of a bizarre looking bull flag pattern. But nonetheless, like I said, assuming you do care about the big picture of things, still plenty bullish. Got to really like the candle on Friday that formed. Let's take a look at that on the 30-minute real quick. I'm assuming So you have some nice movement here on the 30-minute. I think the key level to watch, if there is going to be any sort of really kind of continued momentum, is that trend line right there. Good news is that the last 30 minutes, the price is approaching that area. So yeah, the first question in my mind would be on Monday, can the price actually get a break up through that trend line right there? And if it can, then yeah, that could start to generate something as we go back to the daily time frame. Then, you maybe look for some more upside pressure there. Again, if you have a request, put it in the chat. It could be a chart request for anything, stock, crypto, futures. Could be a question about prop firms. Could be a question about kind of whatever. Let's see, crypto XRP. And again, if you're enjoying, make sure you hit that like button. Yeah, XRP. Okay, so this is a crypto. So because it's a crypto, it is open right now. Is this what you want? Who asked for this? Doc, is this what you wanted? Am I looking at the right thing? XRP here? Is that what you wanted? I'll get rid of all those annotations. Okay. So yes, immediately right away, the line in the sand that seems to be, in my opinion, very, very important. Yeah, is this level right here around 205, give or take. So you go back here, you can see this general area provided support. Didn't hit it exactly, but support. And then you look here, didn't hit exactly, but support. Right there, support. Didn't hit exactly, but support. So this 205 mark, from a technical standpoint, like I said, in my mind, very important. Because after this level, really the next key overarching level of support is seemingly down around this general area here to, let's just call it $1.73. So not that I'm saying this will be the case, but if the price were to come down here and then break down below it, the chart does enter into kind of this no man's land. Where again, not saying just because it breaks, it's dropping straight down to there. I'm just saying there's a possibility, I would say, a higher possibility that the bears just kind of find their groove and are able to push it down there because, again, the next area where in past history is suggesting as buyers is not until way down there at $1.73. But so far, so good. The price has continued to do very well, holding up above the 205 mark. So that's one of those things where, I would call that a very, very important level. If there is going to be any sort of, kind of bigger move back to the upside, maybe you already noticed it, but right now this 200-day simple moving average, doing work. It's not really letting the price. It's broken up above the 50 period, that purple line, several times, but it's never even actually wanted to do battle with the pink line right there. So I would call that the very near-term area of resistance if the price can push up through there, and then yeah, you have. Not mean to put that there, but then you have areas, right here that could be an area of resistance, and then of course right up here those highs. But one hurdle at a time. And the first key dynamic, in my opinion, has nothing to do with breaking areas of resistance. It's all about, can the price hold up above this 205 mark? So, and if it can hold above there, then yeah, then it starts to make more sense to focus on, breaking these areas of resistance. But, that's kind of XRP there. And just out of curiosity, what's the 30-minute looking like? All right, 30 minutes actually got a very, all right. So you could do this on the 30-minute. I think this would make a lot of sense. That's a very interesting, very, very solid trend line. So right there, 30-minute, very, very nice trend line, approaching it closely. It's basically at this point mimicking the purple line right there. So if the price were to come down here and break down below that 214-ish mark, again, I'm not saying that there's going to be a big downwards movement, but technically speaking, that would be a break of a pretty big trend line, which could, even if it's just kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, generate some more downside pressure. And just as an FYI, one request, and then after that, if you want more, $5 super chat, or else you're gonna, you can't take the time. So Tony, I appreciate another request, and I realize people don't know this, so I'm not like upset about it, but like just kind of the policy. First one, hey, no problem. But if you're, I had one guy, was it last week, show up, and he just dropped like a list of like 7. Okay, I'm exaggerating. 5. I think it was 5. No. It was 3. And then I explained all this, and then he gave like another 2 or 3. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess some people don't necessarily listen. I don't know. But yes, I to keep it open to other people. And quite frankly, I don't, not to turn myself into somebody's single person stock analyzer butler. If you want to do more than one, that's fine. But, so pick your best one that you're most interested in. And then if you want to do any other ones, that'll take a $5 super chat. It used to be $2 super chats, but then, no, it used to be any super chat. Then people are doing like $1 ones and $2 ones. I'm like, okay, I'm turning myself into like a sweatshop here. Yeah, same to you, Tony. Same to you. Let's go back up here. BA, crypto. How do you tell if it, and that's the other thing. I understand that the other benefit of a super chat is I'll get to it right away. Because I realize now I'm answering questions that were asked, 5-10 minutes ago. So that's the other downside is if hey, it's Saturday, I got to get moving. Okay, that's fine. But I make no promises that I'll get to your request or that I'll get to it in a timely manner unless it's a super chat. Again, you don't have to do a super chat if you're like, no, I'm good for the next hour. Then fine. Then you can just wait your turn. But because I realize I'm reading this question from D, but I mean this question was probably asked 10 minutes ago. How do you tell if it's a false breakout? That's a bit beyond the scope of this, but I will just remind you, you have a faulty premise in that question. You are implying that you are able to tell if something's a fake breakout, and that's not true. Nobody's ever able to look at something like, oh, that's for sure a fake breakout. No, you can make educated guesses. So I think what you're probably actually asking is, how do you make an educated guess that it's a false breakout? What things lead you to believe that it could be a false breakout? But no, there's no way to tell. Because to tell means like, oh, that's a guaranteed, that's for sure going to be a false breakout. But yeah, like I said, there's kind of multiple moving parts there and a little bit outside of the scope of this. I guess I don't think this person cares. I think I've sent this to them before and they don't want to, but yes, stuff like that is covered in my program. So I'll just send this to you, D, and you can do with the link. All right. I don't even know if he's still there. Maybe he's gone. But anyways, I'll just put this, D, if you want that. That's kind of more so within the scope there. Like I said, do with that link as Will D, but I don't know if he's even here anymore. All right, CRCL recently went public. Oh, there he is. Okay. So yeah, that link up overhead. False breakout came about when you looking at CLSK. Yeah, CLSK definitely had some fake breakouts. Looks like a rising wedge. Yeah, I want to push back on that. I mean, if we squeeze things down from the bigger picture, so this is, we're looking at a multi-period pattern here, but so there is, which, yeah, I want to push back. That looks like a rising wedge, and then you consider this right here. So if we just make the pattern maybe look a little bit better, and then put the golf hole up here, upside down pennant pattern, meaning this would be a bear pennant. But again, just because something's a bearish pattern doesn't mean for sure guaranteed it's going to go down. But yeah, I'd agree that it does look like there's a bit of a rising wedge there. All right, where were we? CRCL. Again, I'm taking requests for stock charts, futures charts, forex charts, crypto charts. Questions if you have about prop firms, questions about futures trading. And I bring that up because Monday through Friday, on the live stream, we were day trading futures here through a prop firm, which is definitely the best way to go about day trading. So if anybody here is a day trader of anything other than futures, I'm telling you right now, you're operating inefficiently. You're working harder, not smarter. You're taking on more risk than you actually need to. You're not getting the best bang for your buck. There's a lot of reasons. So I'm just throwing that out there too as to why, the vast majority of the time we're talking about day trading futures through a prop firm. Blondes or brunettes? Well, given my wife is a blonde, I guess that probably answers that question. But I'm more of a personality person, so I get me. So I don't know. Do blondes or brunettes? Do one have better personalities over the other? I don't know. But you got to be able to roll with my sense of humor. If you can't roll with my sense of humor, if you can't give me a little grief back, if you can't, press my buttons from time to time, probably not going to get along. All right. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess this person did say recently went public, but it is heading higher. Yeah, this was a very nice Friday right here. Came out of this consolidation very, very strongly. I mean, for me, buying right there is a little scary. Seems somewhat like a chase, but I think you could structure a little bit better of a trade plan if you waited for it to maybe come down here, do a back test, and then go. Not saying that'll happen, and that is a risk. The risk is, well, that never happens and you just totally miss out. But if it does happen, then yeah, you're going to get a much better entry point than if you chase here and then you have to wait for it to come down here and then it goes. Or you buy right here and it comes down here and it doesn't and it breaks down. So you're taking a much bigger loss. Whereas the people that buy right there, they're going to have a much tighter stop than what you would have. But yeah, just on the surface, very, very impressive Friday with the break out of consolidation. It's still, whoops. Main battleground still going to be right up here, at the highs of, I guess, the third day of the IPO, not of the IPO, but just third day of trading, basically at 139. What is the 30-minute looking like? Wow, yeah, very, very impressive last 30 minutes of the day, and given that it's Friday, very nice last 30 minutes of the week. Quite impressive there. Yeah, what's a 5-minute looking like? What's the 1 minute looking like? Oh, yeah, the volume really. That last 1, 2, 3, 4, basically the last 5 minutes of the day, volume really came in. I mean, that's not the greatest candle to see, but I mean, we're officially on the 1 minute time frame. So one candle on the 1 minute time frame is not gonna, make or break a chart. But yeah, overall looking good, Definitely some good strength, good surge in volume out of the breakout. But yeah, if you're already in, hopefully you were in down in this consolidation area right here. Hopefully you didn't chase right here and you're just thinking, okay, please bail me out. Please bail me out. Can I talk? Yes, yeah, Mike, I'll talk about that right after I ban you. Glad you decided to show up. Yeah, Tom. The crazy thing here was that Sergio commented on one of the YouTube videos. I'm like, man, Sergio, you're actively trying now to send me into early retirement. All right, where are we? SPY. All right, let's take a look at SPY. Usually I do this weekly anyways, so we got to do our kind of little update. So the overall markets here, all things considered, specifically that comment being in regards to all the Israel-Iran stuff right now. I mean, just a little minor pullback here. Like it's really not, which is kind of crazy. To me, that just I think shows the strength of the markets. I guess we'll see how this weekend goes, how this early part of the week goes. If they start escalating things more and more, maybe this keeps on pulling back. But right now, given the circumstances, I would consider that a very weak pullback. Not a pullback that makes me think that, yeah, there's still plenty of built-up strength here. There's still plenty of upwards momentum. with all that. Because, yes, big picture wise. Now, again, it all goes back to, perspective. Let's go to the 30-minute. Perspective, meaning if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 10 minutes because you thought this thing was going to keep on, booming upwards, well, then, yeah, from that standpoint, chart looks really bad because it totally rolled over on you. Hopefully you had a stop loss. If you didn't, well, then that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But as a reminder, hit that like button. Hit that like button if you're enjoying. I know Saturdays the likes don't usually go as high, but still it's good to see the likes creeping up to see if I want to continue to do these Saturday ones or not. So if you enjoy the Saturday ones, make sure you communicate that through that like button. But yes, 30-minute again, like I said, big picture wise, yeah, pulled back, but still above the 200 period, still above this key level that I mapped out from the daily time frame down here at 590.70. Now, the one thing to note, though, is if there is going to be any sort of potential recovery back upwards, step number one, key hurdle number one, is now that purple line there, 50 period moving average, and you can see that it has already begun. It's already kind of got its track record right there of behaving as resistance. So just keep an eye on that. I'd be very skeptical. Again, we're on the 30-minute time frame now. I'd be skeptical of any sort of bounces until the price can get back above that purple line and stay above it. So on the 30-minute, if it's bouncing, okay. That's good. I'm not quite totally impressed, which is why I love charts, because I'm sitting here saying, well, I'm not quite totally impressed. Like, if you stop, what does that even mean? That doesn't mean anything. I'm not quite, quote unquote, totally impressed. So it would be a good question for you to say, okay, Clay, well, what do you mean by totally impressed? And again, that's where I love charts, because I can now visually show you what I mean by totally impressed. And my totally impressed would be, like, as I was just talking about, I want to see it get back up to the purple line and then get above it and stay above it. Then I would be totally impressed. Okay, now it's looking like you can make a case that the bulls have shown back up. So that is why I absolutely love charts, is because they allow you to take broad statements, totally impressed, and then make them way more visual. But yeah, overall, like I said, the context of what happened and what's going on with all the missiles and stuff, and that's all the pullback that was really generated. Pretty impressive. How did the ES actually look, out of curiosity now? Now, even the ES, futures market pulled back, and then I think it recovered. What was that, later day? Oh, no. Okay. Recovered. Oh, that's right. Isn't it crazy? Like, this just happened yesterday, and I'm sitting here like, man, how did yesterday go? If that's just cut me a little sec. I promise after you start trading for long enough, maybe some people here in the chat can back me up, but you're going to be like, man, Clay, I get it. Like, I totally understand how you can't remember what happened yesterday. I can barely what happened in my previous trade, and my previous trade was like 7 minutes ago. But anyways, okay, that's right. It did start to go up, and then it did pull back a little bit here. I don't know. Yeah, I think a level. I'm always trying to look and see, like, what could be an area that a lot of people do, what could be a thing that a lot of people are doing in the futures market. And now that I look at it, I could see this being a thing a lot of people are doing. Why do I care whether or not a lot of people are drawing in that trend line? Because when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. I mean, it can produce some dynamic movement. So, not guaranteed to happen, but if the price were to come down here and break down through it, then yeah, I could see a lot of people starting to get bearish on it and all that, and that could, generate some downwards pressure. Because yeah, that's a pretty basic trend line to draw right there, which is why I like basic things. Because the more basic it is, and in my opinion at least, the safer the assumption becomes that more people have done it, and the more people that have done it means the more people that are watching it, and the more people that are watching it, you can kind of try to gauge how they may behave with it, and then build a trade plan around that. So. That's why I'm not looking, I got nothing against some of these tools, but like Fibonacci time zone, like I don't know what this is. I don't know what that means. It looks pretty cool, but like I don't think most people in the markets are using Fibonacci time zone. So therefore, I don't think these necessarily would have too much self-fulfilling prophecy. All right, hey, go away. Fibonacci time zones, leave me alone. There we go. Okay. If anybody here does know how to use Fibonacci time zones, more power to you. I do not. I didn't even know that was a thing until just now. I've heard of retracements. I've heard of extensions. I've never heard of Fibonacci time zones. So if you are a Fibonacci time zone trader, I am impressed. I don't know what you're doing, but it sounds cool. All right. What do you think of episode 2 of the differentiating with respect to what? Fractal. Tell a goog, that almost comes across like you're a bot. Like, you're here to advertise that? I don't know what that is. How long have I been a trader for? Since about 2006-ish. And I say ish because I didn't start off as a trader. I started off as a highly sophisticated penny stock investor. So at what point did I transition to trading? I don't know. Well, I take that back. I guess I always wanted to be a trader, but then there was the pattern day trading rule. So it essentially forced me to become an investor, because with that stupid pattern day trading rule, by definition, if you show up as in the stocks world or options world and you say I want to be a day trader and you have less than 25,000, as an FY, definitionally speaking, you can't be a day trader, because I define day trader as somebody, get ready for it, that can day trade as much as they want, that can buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell as much as they want every single day. But because of that pattern day trading rule, you're only allowed 3 day trades every 5 days. A day trade being where you buy and sell something in the same day. And yes, you heard me right. You're only allowed to do that 3 times every 5 days if you fall under the pattern day trading rule. So that's why I say, I guess technically speaking, I did start off as a trader, but I was quickly forced into being a penny stock investor because, I just didn't have the $25,000 back in college. But that is why we do talk. So in the category of day trading here, that is why we talk about Pam's plant. And this is why I want people to be aware of Pam's plant, because a big key feature of it is right here. That pattern day trading rule that, like I said, annoyed me, forced me into the garbage world of penny stock investing. Well, in the world of futures, there is 0 pattern day trading rule. So it doesn't matter. Well, you have to have some money to trade. You don't have to have a whole lot of money to trade. That's where the prop firms come into play. But yes, you can be a day trader for, if you do Pam's plant, bare minimum, you need $105 to do Pam's plant, which is, again, you can day trade as much as you want if you have $105, which sounds like a scam, because I understand if you're somebody in the stock world or the options world, and you know what I mean by that pattern day trading rule, in your mind, you have that $25,000 number. So you're thinking, wait, I thought it was $25,000. You're telling me it's only $105? That's what I'm telling you. So I understand. Explain time. Yeah, time frames are just what you're looking at. So we're on the 30-minute time frame. That means each one of these candles represents 30 minutes. If I change to the 5-minute, now each one of these candles represents 5 minutes worth of time. If I go to the weekly, each one of these candles represents 1 week's worth of price action. So that's all a time frame is. Hey, Team Zipperlip. There's Zipperlips. I remember that name. But yes, I will right away, because you gave this $5 super chat. So thank you for that. All right. Could you take a look at MSFT? Okay, let's pull up MSFT. Microsoft. The inflow was minus 106 million, and the YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth street. Well, why not? Why are you not maintaining enough? Hopefully the stream's still looking okay. I got a little bit of an error message. As such, viewers will. Okay, well, I don't know how to control that at all. So hopefully, maybe my internet's a little on the slow side right now. But okay, the inflow was minus 186 million, and the inflow for the week was negative. Yet the stock continued to rise. I was plus 1,500, but minus 1,500 on. Well, yeah, I don't really follow the inflow stuff, because at the end of the day, I just follow the chart, because the chart is measuring what ultimately matters, and that is, well, what's the price doing? But yeah, Microsoft as a whole. Again, we have to keep in mind context. What was happening on Friday? So from this candle to this candle, what happened? Well, there's a couple countries starting to bomb each other, launch missiles at one another. And it was happening in a place where, kind of the world cares about oil, all that sort of stuff. So what actually happened? How did it affect Microsoft? I would argue not much at all. Sure, yeah, you had a bit of a pullback, but given the consequences, given the situation, the context of what was going on, I would call that a very mild pullback. So overall, even if I draw a pretty aggressive trend line, I think it's still above it. Well, yeah, like I said, this is a self-admittedly very aggressive trend line. There we go. Yeah, look at that trend line. The price is still even above that line right there. So Microsoft is above this aggressive trend line. It's it's still very nicely above both the 50-day simple moving average and 200 day. So on the daily, let's see. Is this a rising wedge? No, that's not even not a rising wedge. Okay, never mind on that. So yeah, daily, I don't see a whole lot to worry about. Let's go down to the 30-minute. And this is more so just kind of. So that's going to be the key trend line right there. So if the daily is going to have, any chance of recovering back up to highs and push up higher, it's going to start on the 30-minute. Where does it start on the 30-minute? Well, let's see if it can break up through that trend line right there. Now, let me be very clear. I'm not saying that if the price breaks above that red line, that therefore the price is guaranteed to return to highs. I'm just saying that if the daily is going to have any sort of turnaround, it's going to start on the 30-minute right here at the red line. My put option stunk. Oh, are you swing trading options? What are you doing with the op? Please don't tell me you know better than the day trade options. You're not day trading options, are you? It's the walk to you. Hey, but yeah. So you had a put option. You said Zipper Lips. Right. But yeah, overall Microsoft's looking just fine. But if you're bearish because you have a put, then yeah, I would not say things are looking great. But yeah, if you are day trading options, Team Zipper Lips, you know how silly that is. You know the math. You know the math ain't mathin'. It's not mathin' in your favor, that's for sure. But yeah, so I don't know if you're bearish. Yeah, this is looking good here. But overall, from a bearish standpoint, I mean, very much so still in an overall uptrend. And right now, the purple line is doing a good job of providing support. So yeah, from a bearish standpoint, if the price can push up through that trend line there, especially if it's a high volume break, from a bearish side of things, I'd be relatively nervous. I'd be ready to manage risk. I'll put it that way. All right, but thank you for the super chat. So again, that is the benefit of a super chat. I will get to your request, question, whatever you have immediately, right away. If you don't, that's okay. You don't have to do anything, but just the risk you run is that maybe I don't see it, or maybe I don't get to it until 20 minutes after you ask the question, whether or not you're still here. Hey, Clay, I just wanted to say thank you for the straightforward approach. Oh, cool. Many things you have said is basic knowledge to successful trading, and it's up to us to... Yeah, I try to... Thank you, Mystery Buck. I try to keep it pretty straightforward. I'm coming to your side soon. Okay, good. Glad to hear that. All right, let's go back up in the chat. Have I missed anything? XRP. Again, I'm taking requests for stock charts, option charts, futures charts, forex charts, questions just about trading. I guess questions about life. I don't know about life. I draw my lines in some places. Questions about real estate. I love real estate. Questions about personal finance. I love just overall money management. Questions about prop firms. Because that is the main driver of the channel. Pam's Plant. Day trade futures through a prop firm, but Saturdays are a little different. I quit options 3 weeks ago and getting a handle on the futures. I'm just over trading and trying too hard to find the... Yeah. So what do you think, Mystery Buck? As somebody that came from day trading options 3 weeks ago, I mean, am I right? Like, do futures move a whole lot better than options? Is it way nicer to not have to deal with theta? Because I should note that if you are an options trader, day trader that is, the nice thing about futures is you are still trading contracts, but these contracts do not have theta. So yeah, you get to say goodbye to theta. So I would assume it should be, mathematically speaking, that from a mathematical viewpoint alone, should be all you need to be like, well, I'm done day trading options. If I can still go day trade, and not, like I said, futures move better than options anyways, but setting that aside, even if they just moved the same, well then why would you choose to deal with theta if you don't actually have to? So on 25K take profit account after you hit 1500 target, then what? Well, how many days did it take you to do that, Paul? Gonna try anyways. The buffer amount is whatever your drawdown is. So What's the drawdown during the test phase, M23? The one benefit of trading ES options. No, it still applies. Oh, futures options? Yeah, but why? Why? No, why deal with theta? Why would you? I don't understand why people choose to deal with theta. Okay, so did you just pass it on Friday, Paul? You'll start to get emails about how you now transition over into your pro account. Going to try anyways. I'll need your help first timer. Yeah. Well, when you get signed up, remember, if you want to support the stream, Zipper Lips code Clay. That'll give you the promotion, the discount, and it is a way to support the channel, support the live stream. I recently passed finally 50K eval on Apex with the new PA account. How much risk? Oh, I don't know, Ronald. This is a take profit trader stream, and exactly why I do this right here. I don't have anything against Apex, but Apex is not for beginners. I don't understand their rule book. Their rule book is thick. It can get complicated in a hurry. If you've heard a lot of people say Apex is a scam, they're not a scam. What happens is beginners start off with Apex, and then it comes across as a scam because it's not a smooth process. There is all sorts of rules. There's all sorts of this and that. But with Take Profit Trader, I think they're the best in the business, and they're definitely the best for beginners. Very, very clean set of rules. They have the best payment policy, and so yeah. So I don't have anything against Apex, but like I said, this is 95% of the time we're talking about Take Profit Trader here because I am under the assumption that I'm trying to bring people into Pam's plant because there's way too many people like me that, in fact, even on Friday we had a couple people. One guy was complaining about, well, how do I do this, and he was describing the annoyance of the pattern day trading rule. So I was like, hey man, how would you like to not have to deal with that pattern day trading rule anymore? And he's like, yeah, of course. So shared Pam's plant with him, and he hopefully his life got a little better. But yeah, Ronald, sorry, I don't know how any of that works. I don't claim to know Apex's rules because their rule book's a little too thick for me. It's a huge difference. The prop firm allows you to gain huge, but also lose, huge. Trying to fight the market, cut your losses early. Oh yeah. Well, no, that's not the prop firm. That's just futures in general. Yeah. Basically what Mystery Buck he's coming from options day trading, and he's saying, oh yeah, no, futures, they move. You can gain huge, you can lose huge. And it's like, well, yeah, as day traders, that's what we want, movement. But because of you can also lose huge too. Sure, you can make $1,500 in the blink of an eye, but that does go both ways, which is why it's Pam's plant. Again, Pam's is the argument for futures. Plant is the argument for the prop firm. And the main thing about the prop firm is you want to be able to have that added risk control via protecting your own money, because you have very little money at risk, because the only money you actually have at risk is the cost of the account. So right here, if you want to have 50K in purchasing power, your actual risk is only $119. Because if you go and violate the rules, and the rule here would be don't lose more than 2,000. So if you go on a trade and go on tilt and lose 2,000, you don't actually lose 2,000 out of your pocket like you would have if you were using your own money. But they will take the account away from you, meaning, and you can always get the account back again for $100 actually, because that's called the reset. But as far as the first time, since you paid $119, that's your ultimate risk. So that's what I mean by that added risk control is you have very little money on the line in the first place. And I'm actually going to do a video here to kind of illustrate. I'm going to name the video. I'm going to do this after this, but a small payout giving big proof. So what do I mean by that? Well, let me just show you an account of just kind of how the prop firm works, but let me just bring this over here. So this is one of my accounts. This is the pro account. So right here. So in this account, what I'm going to do for the video is the amount that I can withdraw, so that I can get a quote-unquote payout that I can have sent to me is $400 right there. Now, a lot of people, if you're looking at that and you're like, $400, that's kind of unimpressive. I see such and such withdrawing, making thousands or whatever, and all that sort of stuff. And I do, in my mind, I'm hoping people are thinking that, because that's actually proving the power of a prop firm. Because let's say this is your account, and you're like, okay, yeah, I could withdraw now. I could withdraw $400. Well, and we're all like, okay, that's actually not too impressive. Like $400. Okay. But think about it. $400. What does that actually accomplish within how a prop firm works? Well, when we look at, again, and this is on a 150K account. So the cost of a 150K account. So if this was you, like I said, what would it have cost you to get that 150K account? $252. And that's it. Assuming you pass within a month, and that's always the goal. Get pass the test within the month, so that's literally all you pay. So under that assumption that you do indeed pass within a month, your total expense is $252. But what did those results? If we just assume those were your results at $400, what does that tell you? And if we're on the same page, unimpressive results, like, dude, that's it. That's not impressive. But what does that tell us? Not impressive results just covered your basis. Plus $150, right? Because $400, and if your cost to get that account was $252, and now you're at $400, not only have you removed all risk because you've paid yourself back of what you originally paid for the account, but that's still $150 extra bucks with, again, unimpressive results. So that is just the leverage of a prop firm. Is you can buy. Like I said, hopefully everybody was like, dude, those results suck. That's terrible. Like, that's it, $400. Like I said, I hope people think that, because then I can say, so sucky results, terrible results, unimpressive results, still we're able to recoup your cost of the account and throw $150 into your pocket. And now, if this were you, everything is totally risk-free. Because if you were to go and then violate a rule on that account, and then again, they take the account away from you, it doesn't matter at that point. That's all pure profit. Worst case scenario, like I said, if that was your account, worst case scenario, you are officially profiting $150. Because again, you recouped your cost of $250 plus $150. So there you go. I mean, you are worst case scenario. But if you keep going on and you make, another 500 or, 300 or 400, because you can request money every day, that stuff can add up. But the point is, unimpressive trading results, we're able to recoup the risk of the prop firm itself. So that is a very big benefit of the prop firm is, once you get to the pro account, and then this is what it starts to look like behind the scenes. Now, I don't have to withdraw this. It's not like you have to take out money. It's just telling me, hey, I have this money to withdraw. Like I said, for the sake of the video I'm going to make, I am going to withdraw it. Just so, like I said, so my goal is small payout, big proof. The proof being just how efficient prop firm trading is, just how efficient Pam's plan is. Unimpressive results can still cover your risk and put a little bit of profit in your pocket. And like I said, I still have this account. So as long as I continue to, not violate the rules, then yeah, on Monday, I could have another amount show up right there. On Tuesday, I could have another amount show up right there. Because that's the one good thing about Take Profit Trader is you can withdraw money every day. Other prop firms, they won't let you do that. You have to wait 5-10 days before you can make the next request. But with Take Profit Trader, every single day I could request money if I want, because I'm now at that phase within the pro. But like I said, if this was your account, your total risk would be paid for, plus it'd be totally house money at this point, because all you ever had in at risk in the first place was $250. Now, it doesn't have to be $250. Like I said, this was the $150K account. But if you did this, literally, you're at $105. So your risk is even lower. You would need even more of unimpressive results to recoup that risk. Does that make sense, people? Give me a 1. Does that all make sense? I have never had a payout denied. No. This is not Apex. Give me a 1. Does all that make sense about unimpressive results kind of illustrate the power of Pam's plant? Because that like I'm kind of brainstorming with you. I'm in my mind, this is a really good video idea, but so I'm kind of using you as a little bit of a guinea pig. But I think that's going to be very powerful, because I want to try to set up the video where I get people to think, dude, that's $400. What? Huh? That's it. I hope I can get people to think that way. Because then, yeah, boom. Yes, exactly. So think about that. Unimpressive results, bad results, terrible results, kind of laughable results. Still recouped your risk, recouped your all-in cost, plus put a little money in your pocket. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to go for with that video, because I think in my mind that will just illustrate the power of Pam's plant. Good. All right. Thank you for the feedback. Granted, I don't know. I didn't ask if that was a good video. I just asked if that made sense. So I'm glad I explained it in a way that did make sense. Hopefully, I think it's awesome. Okay, good. Good. What do you think where Tesla goes? All right, let's go back up to... Again, I am taking requests for stock charts, Forex charts, futures charts, crypto charts, questions about trade in general, questions about life, questions about prop firms, for questions about futures, because Monday through Friday, the live stream is all about day trading futures through a prop firm. All right, let's get back up to futures are regulated by the... So correct. Yeah. Matey, mate, you had mentioned something about futures options. Yes, there are options on futures, but I'm thinking, no, you don't have to trade options on futures. Just trade the futures themselves. But yes, correct. That's why it's a first part here of Pam's plant. Up here. Matey, mate, that's why it starts right there. The pattern day trend rule, there is none. So for you day traders of stocks or options that don't have the $25,000 and you're stuck under that dreaded pattern day trader rule, well, you don't have to worry about that in the world of futures. Let's see. All right, that's where I was. Ronald, I trade on Moomoo with a cash account, so I don't have to worry about the day. Yeah, but you still do, Zipper, because you're on a cash account. So you'll run out of cash every day because you have to worry about cash settlement. So yeah, maybe you can make a little bit more day trades, but eventually you're going to run out of cash. Because if you have $10,000, well, eventually you're going to cycle through your $10,000 and then you're done for the day. So yes, technically speaking, you're working away the one part of the pattern day trend rule, but you still have to deal with cash settlement rules, which at the end of the day, the cash account does not allow you to day trade as much as you want because you will run out of cash. But in the futures market, you won't. You can make as many day trades as you want every single day. How did you come across this prop firm? Because members of my private... I've had a private community since 2013. That's when I started claytrader.com and all that. And many members over the years have told me about these two prop firms. That's why I'm on these two, because members who I trust that I've known and have been friends with now for years, they are well ahead of me. They were the total guinea pigs in futures and prop firms, because I was very skeptical of prop firms. But these are the two that came highly recommended to me. They have a track record of paying. They've been around. I used Take Profit Trader. I've been paid by them. I know they pay. I love their payment process. I love their rule book. But like I said, to answer your question, where did I get suggested? I got suggested by both of these from trusted, battle-hardened veterans of my private community that have been around for years. So that's the one benefit. Yes, I'm an old-timer. Yes, I'm old. Yes, man, this guy's old. Wow, man, this dude's been on YouTube since 2013. All true, I am old. But that also has given me a lot of time to have a community, to experience a community, to have friends and see traders that have been around for some of these people I've known for like 10 years now, which is crazy. But yes, those are the type of people that are like, yeah, Clay, you really need to get into prop firm trading. And these are the prop firms that are trustable. What's the 8 p.m.? I'll send you a link to that and you can read all about what it's about. Who asked that? There you go. Too Funkalicious. Cool name. There you go. I'll link that to you. You can answer that question there. You can go there. It'll read everything. Sure, yeah. At the end of the day, Team Zipper Lips, you're not getting around. You're not obtaining the ability to be a day trader. And my definition of a day trader is to be able to buy, sell as much as you want every single day. Hey, Bar was the fourth. Spamming a question is not going to get it answered any sooner. Again, I'll take multiple questions, but there is a point where, like, you've asked now many questions. So if you have questions that are that important, like I said, $5 super chats, we'll make it happen, and I'll answer it right away. But yes, I will tell you right now, copy pasting your question over and over again is a good way for me to start to ignore stuff. So like I said, you got to be patient. If you don't want to do your super chat, that's fine, but you got to be patient and let me get to your question. But like I said, spamming your question is going to work against you. Hey, Clay, did you get to futures oil? No, I've never traded futures oil. I don't. I don't see any reason to do so. Will orders be denied through restricted news events? Yeah, there's a couple of situations, Jeremy, where the prop firm doesn't want you to trade, but they always email you ahead of time. And they have a calendar behind the scenes, Jeremy, that tells you what news events you're not allowed to trade. And when I say you're not allowed to trade, because, the prop firms, they do want you to behave in a disciplined way. So if there's a big news event, they're like, no, you don't get to go trade that because that would just be degenerate gambling. But when you're not allowed to quote unquote trade the news, that just means you can't be in a trade 1 minute before the news, during the trade or during the news, or 1 minute after. So if there's a big news thing at let's just say that the 8:30, that's always a popular time, 8:30 Eastern, then you are not allowed to be in the trade at 8:29. You're not allowed to be in the trade at 8:30 when the news comes out, and you're not allowed to be in the trade up until 8:31. But after that, you can start to trade it. But again, this rule is just designed because that is also one of the benefits of a prop firm that I argue is they have rules. Whoops. They have rules, which I argue is an added form of risk control. Why? Because these rules are going to force you to behave like an adult, not a degenerate gambler. And trading CPI reports or Fed minutes, those are just gambles. I get it. What if it could spike? Yeah, I guess I agree. They're huge moves, huge spikes, but nobody knows. That's degenerate gambling at the end of the day. And the prop firms are like, no, we're going to force you to behave wisely. We're going to force you to manage risk. But yes, when you're not allowed to trade the news, it's literally that 1 minute before, during, and then 1 minute after, and then you can go start to trade it again. But you can't load up on a lotto ticket and they're not going to allow you to do that. But again, that is a good thing. That is a rule that's forcing you to behave like, dare I say, well-trained, well-disciplined trader. But that is also only during the pro accounts. So where did that go? Good question, though. And I should say that all prop firms are different in that regard. I'm just answering things from the take profit trader standpoint. Do you have any free introductory courses available? I have lots of free stuff. My organized education that goes from step 1 to step 2 to step 3, that is not free, but I do offer, like I said, this right here. Come on now. There we go. What was up with that? All right. So I got, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of free videos there. But yes, the organized stuff is not free. Apex allows it, and so does Top Step. But that's pure gamble. You got no... Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which really with the funded accounts, Alpine, they allow you to trade that stuff. I don't know what they call it. I just know Take Profit is pro account, but what is Apex? Funded? What's the proper terminology there? No, it's a PA, right? I don't know what PA stands for. Thanks for that. I cannot log into my Take Profit trade. It tells me credentials are invalid. It allows me to reset password, but it still can't log in with new one. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm allowed to log in. I was just in to get those stats I was just showing everybody. Yeah, I can log in. I'm not sure. They have different rules. Take Profit has them, so it would hurt them. Yeah, it's true. It's true. They would, like I said, all prop firms. I just talk because I'm here to make people aware of how great day trading futures are, and then how much of a benefit a prop firm is. So I want people to have. I am under the assumption that you are new to the world of prop firm trading futures, so I want your experience to be smooth. And that's why I do. That's why I just talk about Take Profit, because they definitely have the smoothest set of rules, and I think will leave the best taste in people's mouth. But then yes, once you get battle hardened prop firm trader and you want to expand the empire, then yeah, that's where your Apex could work. Let's see. I'm going back into the chat, seeing if can I look at NQ? Yeah, let's take a look at NQ. Why do I have, we're just going to start fresh. So again, I made this comment earlier on some of these but all things considered, when you consider that a couple of kind of major countries are lobbing missiles back and forth, and that's all that really came from it, I mean, think about it. This was all the tariff stuff. The tariff stuff the market cared way more about than literally countries bombing one another. So I think that there's an underlying strength there within the overall market for that event to not. I mean, yes, it pulled back, but by no means would anybody consider that, or at least I want to consider that some sort of crash or anything like that. No, I mean the weekend is young. Who knows what can happen from now until Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And if you're not familiar, that is just an important time because that's when the futures market opens back up. So yes, maybe something happens and it gets way more crazy. But I think I am bullish bias headed into the week just because to think that all that drama and that's all it could really muster up. And then we look at the 30-minute. And I drew this on the ES. But this is a trend line that I'm going to be curious about. Because, as I mentioned earlier, very basic trend line, and I like very basic trend lines. I like very basic things because if something is very basic, then I think it's a safe premise to assume that a lot of people have done this very basic thing. And if a lot of people have done this very basic thing, then a lot of people are watching this thing. And when a lot of people are watching a thing, it can create self-fulfilling prophecies and stuff like that. And when you know what the self-fulfilling prophecy, again, you never know what it's going to be. You never know if it will for sure happen. But you can start to take some, okay, I think there's an edge. I think there's some odds that certain things happen. Then you can build a trade plan around it. And one of those odds is if the price comes down here and breaks through there, again, no guarantees, but I can see a lot of people like, oh, that's not good. And then you have shorts saying, so you have longs not liking that. They want to get out. You have shorts liking it. They're wanting to get in. So those sorts of things. Wait, and all of these people are doing that action just based on a line on a chart? Yeah, self-fulfilling prophecies. That's what always makes me laugh. If anybody ever tells you, hey, listen, you're a loser. You believe in black magic. Technical charts don't work. It's all self-fulfilling prophecies. That person just conceded a very important thing. They just admitted that self-fulfilling prophecies exist. Therefore, would it not be wise to know what those self-fulfilling prophecies might be? Keyword being might. You never know what they're going to be. There's no guarantees. And to me, yes, yeah. If you want to call this all a joke, all a gimmick, and stuff only happens because of self-fulfilling prophecies, well, then I am searching for where those self-fulfilling prophecies could be so that I can build a trade plan around it. So, I mean, that's what always makes me laugh is people are trying to rip on us as technical traders. That stuff doesn't work. It's all just self-fulfilling prophecies. All right, cool, man. I appreciate you just admitting that self-fulfilling prophecies do indeed exist. So let's try to find what those are. So, yes. How did I get off? Oh, yeah, because this is a very basic trend line. So you got to think a lot of people are watching it. And really headed into the week, we have a little miniature kind of wedge right here that's forming. So if we just use the purple line as a top part of the pattern and then this right here, and if we want to do this. So yes, technically speaking, bear pennant headed into Sunday at 6 p.m. Just because something's a bear pennant doesn't mean it's going to go down, but that is the context, at least from the 30-minute time frame there on the NQ. I don't know if there's any... Does it really matter to drop down to the 5-minute? Probably not. But I mean, same general thing here. So if we just use this as the lower part, and then, wherever you want to do it. So there's the other bear pennant right there on the 5-minute. Again, just because something's a bullish pattern does not mean it's going to go up. Same is true here. Just because it's a bearish pennant does not mean prices are going to go down. But that's what I'm seeing on the NQ. So overall, I am bullish biased just because, like I said, to think that that's all it can muster up. So overall, bullish bias, but I will be maybe I've traded twice since I've gotten into futures on a Sunday evening, so I won't even be paying attention on Sunday evening. Well, let me put it. I don't plan on paying attention, but I suppose if things escalate over the weekend, then maybe I will be paying attention. But Monday morning, I will be checking to see how the price did behave with this kind of bear pennant pattern, and then I'll start to develop more of a try to get a better gauge of things. But as things stand right now, overall still bullish bias, but in the very near term, a little bit of a bearish bias because of that current bear pennant pattern. So hopefully that makes sense, Shari, and hopefully you're still here and heard all that. Hey, can we get 5 more likes? Can we at least push this up to 50 likes? That'd be great. That 50 likes is actually really good for a Saturday stream. So, all right, let's see. Performance account. Thank you, Alpine. Performance account is what PA stands for in Apex. That's right. It's the walk. Open the casino. It's been about Hey, it's the walk to you. Go for a walk, man. You got to get out. You got to go enjoy. Like, why are you doing this? I hope you're doing trading to create time for yourself. Like, I don't do trading so I can do more trading. I do trading because I want time. I want to be able to go for a walk outside. It's the walk. So, hey, man, I appreciate your passion. I appreciate you're all sad that the markets are closed, but hey, man, enjoy it. Go for a walk. Get outside. Listen to some birds chirping. Go prance through a field, you know? Go sing The Hills Are Alive with the sound of music as you twirl around. I don't know if that reveals my... No, that's just a classic movie. Even when I was young, that was still like a classic movie. If you don't get that reference, then... I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Hi, Clay. I passed my 25K test. Hey, good job, Alan. I am trying to transition to the pro account. Do I have... It does not show a credit. Well, assuming you signed up with at least Clay, then yes, it should have been 30% off, and you should definitely have a credit. If it does not show a credit, then make sure you reach out to him, Alan, and let them know that, hey, I used code Clay, or, you know, if you didn't use code Clay, well, then I don't know what to tell you. But yes, code Clay definitely gives you that 30% off and the 0 activation fee. Oh, credits don't show up until Monday. Okay, there you go. So the market doesn't open again until 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Eastern on Sunday is when the markets open back up. What is the test you have to pass with the prop firm? Well, with Take Profit Trader, the test is right here. So if you do the 50K, the test is you've got to be able to make 3,000, but that you got to manage risk. Can't be a degen. They don't want you losing 2,000. Now, you have as long as you want to pass. I always tell people, make sure you get it done within a month because you don't want to have to pay this again. And the nice thing here about Take Profit Trader is that once you make the jump from the test into the pro, no more monthly fees. You still get live data. You still get all those perks, but there's no more monthly fees. So that's what I was saying earlier on when I was showing kind of my quote-unquote unimpressive results, is that assuming you get done within a month, then quite literally your entire risk is just the cost of the account. Because if you violate a rule, they'll take the account away from you. But it's not like, you know, the rule violation, again, on the 50K would be losing more than 2. It would just be, you know, the 119. And you can't always, in prop firm lingo, reset the account. So a reset where you basically buy the account back, at that would only be $100. That's a little bit more prominent on the 150K account. So yes, first time you get it, $250. But if you go and violate the rules, and the rules on this one, you lose more than $4,500, well then you can get the account back for only $100. So from that angle, I think I like the 150K just because if you just assume that you're going to blow up an account, which is a good assumption, all prop firm traders blow up accounts. So that doesn't mean you're a bad trader or anything like that because blow-ups in prop firms aren't that big of a deal because, again, your actual risk is just a couple $100. But so with that premise that you are going to blow up an account, with at least Take Profit Trader, it's more of a what do you want that $100 to get you for your next account? Do you want the $100 to get you 25K in purchasing power, or do you want it to get you 150K? I'm not saying that's the way you have to think about it, but I did have somebody present that to me, and I thought that made good sense. Kind of the bang for your buck argument. If you know that your odds are you're going to blow up your first test, and then you're going to want to try again, you're going to want to get that account back, and you know that it's only going to be $100, what do you want for that $100? 25K in purchasing power or 150K? But yeah, that's how the test works. And really quickly for you business savvy people, if you're like scam alert, how does this work? How can this company only require $252 and they're going to let you go lose $4,500 of their own money? Because the test phase here is all happening in a simulator. So you're not actually losing $4,500. Again, it's a test. Somebody once said it's kind of like a job interview. And you know, that's another way to look at it. But the same is true here. I've had other people all upset, like what a scam. So if you pass this test, you're going to go make the prop firm. So you're going to pay $252 to make the prop firm $9,000, and then all you get is your pro account. That's all you get? No, because again, this is all in a simulator. You didn't actually make $9,000. Now maybe you're saying, wait a second, Clay, I've never made $9,000 in 1 month. I get it. I'm telling you right now, though, because of this fact about futures. Again, this is Pam's plant. Pam's is the argument for futures, but because of this right here, futures move. So $9,000 is actually quite reasonable within a month. Now, again, if you are brand new, do you want to start with the 150K? I don't know about that, but all I'm saying is that because futures move and because the way the points and how profit and losses add up, they move. This is why I do not tell anybody to just go do PAMs. If you're a beginner, do not do PAMs. PAMs being, okay, I'm going to do futures in like my Webull account, or I'm going to do futures with my own money. No. It's PAMs plant. Because of this, your money could be gone just like that. Make sure you're doing PAMs plant, day trading futures through the prop firm because of that risk management component of it. Is passing a test easy, or should I? No, you should definitely feel some pride in it. No, that's a great job. I mean, if you're passing tests, well done. Now, on Apex, and this makes some people wrong, I say with Take Profit Trader, absolutely, because they have that consistency rule, so they're going to force you to make at least a few trades. But with Apex, again, I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade, but Apex, you can technically load up. There's no rules. You could pass in one trade because you YOLO news and it happens to go in your favor, so you passed. It's like, okay. I mean, I'm not very impressed by that. But with Take Profit Trader, assuming you're out, yeah, that's an accomplishment because they don't let you just YOLO. They don't let you do that. You've got to actually demonstrate that you have at least some semblance of risk management. So yes, Anthony, assuming you're asking within the context of that's a Take Profit Trader test that you've passed, well done, sir. Credits don't show up. Yeah, I'm trading to buy back. Good. I'm glad you're looking to buy time, not buy more. I do. I love that people are so passionate that they're just like, I wish trading was open 24/7, 365. I'd sit on a bucket. I'd never go, I never, it's like, no, go outside. Go outside. Make some friends. If you got family, definitely spend time with your family, Don't trade so that you can trade more. Trade so that you can trade less because you have more freedom of time and you can get out there and do this stuff. Or I'm going to put it this way. Trade is just one stream of income. You long-time veterans, I promise I won't go on my rant and rave about how I believe that it's all about multiple streams of income. But yes, I've said it many times and I'll say it again. I'm not a full-time day trader. I don't know any full-time day traders. Please, before you go and tell me you know of a full-time day trader, don't point out to me somebody that's got a YouTube channel or a TikTok or has a Discord or has codes or they're not full-time. And I don't say that to rag on them. I say that to applaud them because good for them. They are building multiple streams of income. And every wealthy person I've ever studied has multiple streams of income. So no, I am not a full-time day trader. I could never be a full-time day trader. I have 6 kids. If day trading was my only stream of income and I have 6 mouths to feed, I got to keep a roof over people's heads. Man, that pressure would, if this was my head, this was my brain, that pressure would, I wouldn't be able to do it. So that's why but I don't know any full-time day traders. I know a lot of traders were trading as one of their streams of income and they are multiple income stream builders, which again, I applaud them. Good job. That's what I'm all about. But so how did I get on that topic? Oh, yes. So my goal is I would say don't trade so that you can trade more. Trade as a form of an income stream so that you can build other income streams so that you can eventually go and enjoy your time. Losses. Oh, yeah. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Idzawak. But when you chase and you don't follow setups, that does lead to pain. I appreciate that transparency. Can you explain the strategy people use when they have multiple accounts and they rotate them out? No, because I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. I mean, I'll just tell you my approach, how I use prop firms, and I did this on Monday, is so here's how I use multiple streams. Here I rotate them out. Just depends on amount of capital. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Jay. But so on Monday, I had a doctor's appointment. So Monday is also key because there was Saturday and Sunday I didn't trade. And then Monday morning, I had the doctor's appointment. So by the time I got back, I had missed the morning session, which is where I really enjoyed a trade. So at that point, I had a very itchy trigger finger. I'm like, man, it's been the whole weekend. And then I just missed the open. Ooh, I want to trade though. Let's go. But that's one of those situations where, and I'm not the greatest afternoon trader. That's why when I do trade in the live stream, I always scale things down. I go to the MNQs because I've always just traded for the first 90 minutes. The live stream has literally turned me into an afternoon trader because I've learned that's what people like to see. So all that to say that on Monday, and you can go back and watch Monday stream, I explain all this. I'm like, I'm in a dangerous spot because it's an environment that I'm not very good at. I have not made any trades since Friday, so I have an itchy trigger finger. And so I'm very antsy. And being very antsy in an environment that you're not very good at is a dangerous spot. But I still did want to trade. So I had a choice. Did I want to trade with my pro account? Pro accounts, again, those that need to be treated like a gold bar, because that's the ones where you generate cash, you can get the cash sent to you. Did I want to do that? I'm like, no, that probably wouldn't be smart. But what I can do, let me go get just another, test account. Try to pass another test, throw that into the hopper of past accounts. So if you blow up a pro account, you can just plug up, if you blow a pro account, then you can plug another one right back in because you have all these past tests just sitting there. So that's what I did on Monday. I went, just started at 50K. I was able to trade. I think it was actually a pretty good day. But the point being is the prop firm allowed me to still have skin in the game, but I would argue doing it in a much wiser way. Because had I just, the itchy trigger caused me to FOMO or caused me to force a trade, and I had, and I blew the account. Okay, I blew an account, but it wasn't like my pro account. So I'm not sure if that's what you're asking, Jeremy, but that's a way that I like to maneuver and use my accounts. If I feel like I'm going on a little tilt, if I feel any sort of emotion, then it's very easy to just, okay, let me get out of the pro account. Let me go trade a test account, because if I am starting to lose my mind, I'd rather lose my mind, go on tilt in a test account as opposed to one of these gold bar accounts that I really want to care about. So that's how, that's how I that's my strategy of how I maneuver between accounts. I see people like 10 accounts and they link them together so you can trade them. Well, that's not what you asked. You asked to rotate. Okay, so Jeremy, multiple accounts and they rotate them out. Well, no, rotating them out, I didn't think you were asking about copy trading. Yeah. So you're asking just about copy trading. So yeah, that's the other cool thing about it is with Take Profit Trader, you can have 5 accounts and you can copy trade. So you're not rotating anything out, you're combining them together. So you can combine. So in other words, if you have 5 accounts and you make one trade for for $500, well, if you copy trade it to your 4 other accounts, technically, yes, you only made the one trade for $500. But those 4 other accounts did the exact same thing that you just did. So you walked away with a $500 trade, but from a totality standpoint, you made $2,500, right? Because you made that one trade $500, but because it was copied to your 4 other accounts, that $500 trade actually happened 5 times, so $2,500. So very, very explosive way to grow, but hopefully you see the red flag in there too. If you decide to take that one trade and then behave as a degen or lose your mind or go on tilt, then all those decisions are being copied to those 4 other accounts. So just something to keep in mind. But yes, copy trading is a beautiful thing, but it can also be a train wreck. So you use risky all trades are risky. But yes, I think what you're asking, Jeremy. Wait, Jeremy, you have been asking. Are you the Jeremy that's been asking questions for like the past 3 weeks? Is that you, Jeremy? Is that you, Jeremy, or do I have you confused with somebody else? It just dawned on me. What makes the first 90 minutes of the open? That's just usually when the most volatility is. And when I say the first 90 minutes in the futures world, I just mean when the New York Stock Exchange opens up. That's when the futures market kind of kicks it into another gear. Because, the futures market's been open for basically the entire day anyways. So when I just say the open, I'm actually meaning the stock market open. Come on, Jeremy. At some point, you just got to don't Sergio me, man. I'm starting to sniff a Sergio. Yeah, people that were here on the live stream yesterday know who Sergio is. Sergios are the type that are going to drive me to an early retirement. Oh, you're already doing it. Okay. That's fine. Never mind. You are not a Sergio then. Okay, never mind. Disregard that comment. Sergio is somebody that I spent a lot of time with, answered so many questions. And then he showed up on Friday. And he's doing this stuff that I had already shown him math. So it's not like, well, my opinion. No, it's like, here's the math. The math would be way better if you do Pam's plan. Like, I walked through the math, everything, and then he came back and he's just still doing the stuff where it doesn't not make sense. And when I say it does not make sense, I mean that like in a very literal sense, because it logically does not make sense. Because when you stop and think about it, that's all math is, right? Math is logic. Math is a way to organize things. Math is a way to structure things. That's the whole point of math, and that's also what logic is, right? Logic is just structure. Logic is reasoning, and math just allows you to visualize that reasoning. So when I say like if he's doing stuff that does not make sense, I mean that in its purest form, like in its literal form. It does not make sense. So it's just like, oh man, some people you just. So those are always discouraging to me, where you pour a lot of time into somebody because they seem receptive, and then at the end of the day, you're like, oh no, you just, you know. Yosef, OP. Yeah, I did OP in my in this, so you can go check out OP. If you're not aware, I do a top 10. So right here, you can see actually OP. There it is, right there. So if you go to blog, what is your name? Yosef. So just go to that link and then click on that the top 10 video right there, and you can see. One of them I do is OP. I'm gonna start locking my accounts for Asia session. I keep putting my hand in the fire. I do best with London, New York. Yeah, and isn't, well, I guess I don't know where you're at. But isn't Asian session like in the middle of the night? Like when people tell me I trade the Asian session, I'm like, isn't that? I guess I don't know, but isn't that like the middle of the night? Like get away from your computer, people. Get away. Just go outside. I'm telling you. Outside, there's a lot of stuff to do outside. The less I trade, the more I make. Last week, generally up 50K with any firm, however. Yeah, the daily payouts are very nice. Okay, I think I'm getting caught up again. I'll take questions. Yosef. Hey, Yosef, are you a real person? Or are you just a bot? I asked because you asked for OP, then I spent like a minute explaining where you could find OP, and then you asked for OP again. So at this point, I'm not quite sure. Are you just a poorly programmed bot, or what's going on here? So if you just say OP again, you're going to have to go ahead and ban you, because I think you're probably just the bot. Or Yusef, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce your name. Copy trading aim for beginners if you haven't proven yourself or aren't consistently profitable. Yeah, well, there's a benefit though of copy trading. You could spread risk. What do I mean by that? Well, I'll go through that another point of how you. Well, no, we'll go through it right now. How does copy trading actually act as a risk buffer? So let's look right here at the 50K. So the 50K, and here's the math. You can lose $2,000, and you can also get, and you could get up to 6 NQ contracts, but let's just call it 5. So with 5 contracts, so if you do 5 NQ, the question becomes, well, how many points can you lose before you were to fail that challenge? And I believe you have 20 points. So if 20 points times 20. Yeah, times 5. Okay. So here's how the math works, and here's how you can spread out risk. I'm real. Well, Yosef, like I was just explaining, that link I sent to you takes you to the blog right here, Yosef. Please be listening, or else you're going to get banned, because I'm pretty sure you're definitely a bot. So if you go to that link I sent you, and you click on this video here already has me talking about OP right there. So the reason I thought you were a bot is I explained all that to you, and then you just typed OP again. Richard, no, you don't want to trade. Why do you want to trade equities, Richard? Why don't you want to trade futures? Futures make equities look like paint drying, Richard. Somebody said 90% of stocks. Yeah, with stocks, stocks are kind of garbage. That's why here, Mosab, during the day or during the Monday through Friday, I day trade futures through a prop firm. For that reason, yeah. Stocks slow down pretty quickly. But futures, sure, they've slowed down, but there's still plenty of opportunities throughout the day. So anyways, how does copy trading reduce risk? So think about it. If you were to do 5 NQ options, you could risk 20 points before your account is liquidated. Before your account, you break the rules. Why? Well, because again, you can lose $2,000. And the way futures work is if you have, again, 5 NQs. So let's just think about it. 1 point is worth $20, okay? So if you risk 20 points, so 20 points, and we know that 1 point is worth 20, we got to multiply that 20. That's per contract, $400 per contract. But if you have 5 of those times 5, there you go. Your account would be roasted. So if you decided to load up on 5 NQs, you could risk 20 points before you'd be at minus 2,000, and then before you would have failed the test. So that's where it's at, 5 NQs. Or what happens if you had 5 accounts? So let's think about this now. What happens if you did one NQ? How many points could you risk? Well, let's think about this. So if 1 point is worth $20, and then you did 50 points, or I'm sorry, you could do 100 points in one contract, right? Because if 1 point is worth $20 and then you risked 100 points, there it is. There's that 2,000. So you could do one contract and risk 100 points before 2,000 ever showed up. So that's what we're looking at. Okay, very clearly. Well, of course, if you only have one contract, then you can risk a whole lot more before you get to 2,000 compared to 5 contracts all at once. But let's say that you had 5 accounts. So you were copy trading with 5 accounts and you did one contract in each account. So how many points can you risk in each account? Well, 100 points in each account. But how many contracts are you actually trading? Somebody answer that. How many contracts are you actually trading? So, yeah, you're getting to risk 100 points, but how many contracts are you trading where you still get to risk 100 points? I'm trying to see if this explanation, if anybody's following. This is one where I don't know if I can explain it. So again, how many contracts are you trading? You're getting to risk 100 points, but how many contracts are you actually getting to trade if you're doing one contract, but you're copy trading it to a total of 5 accounts? Okay, nobody's interacting. So I'm going to just keep moving. You are getting to trade 5 NQs, but you're spreading the risk around because you're only doing 1 per account. So in each account, you got that 100 points of risk, but you're still doing 5 total because you're doing 1 across 5 accounts. So you are spreading that risk. Does that make sense to people? Give me number 5. Does that make sense about how you also copy trading? I know a lot of people focus on it. Well, man, I can explode my money. But you also get to spread your risk around because one contract gives you 100 points of risk. So if you only do one contract in one account, you could risk 100 points on a trade. But if you're doing that same trade across 5 accounts, you're technically still trading 5 NQ contracts. Okay, I don't think anybody actually understood what I was doing there, but that is more of an advanced concept, so maybe. Correct, one contract in 5 accounts. So in total, you are still trading 5 contracts, but it's 5 contracts divided by 5 accounts, so there's one contract in each account. Hey, Mosab, what country are you in? Because I don't really want to explain all this to you if you're not even in a country where Pam's plan is possible. So yeah, okay, that made sense to nobody. Okay, so yes, they have charts. So if you understand charts, you're already 97% of the way there in understanding futures. Because a bull flag in stocks also exists in futures. A head and shoulders in Forex, head and shoulders also exist in futures. But anyway, so that is one reason where by copy trading, you are spreading risk around. The total risk is the same. The risk on each account is a fifth. Trading one kind. Correct. Yes, Alex, exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean by you get to spread the risk across. If I opened a take profit trader 50K account, then pass the eval, moving onto a pro account. Is 4% risk of 2,000 drawdown? I don't know, Ronald. What are your thoughts? Do you think that's too much? I'm not answering that because I don't know your risk tolerance. I don't know your strategy. I don't know your system. I don't know anything about you. But what I can say is you should be able to answer that question. Is 4% too much? Look at the numbers. Look at 4%. Does it make beads of sweat start to come down your face? If beads of sweat start to pour down your face, then that'd probably be a telltale sign that 4% is too much. But if you look at that calculation at 4% and you're like, no beads of sweat, no heart thumps, then yeah, probably that'd be a good place to start. All right, Alex, good. I'm glad it made sense to at least one person. So what to look for in Webull? No, don't trade futures in Webull because that's your own money. How volatile can futures become? Very volatile. Like I said, there has not been a single person since I started the live stream that has gone and tried day trading futures that has come back and been like, no, I'm going to go back and day trade stocks. Nah, I'm going to go back and day trade options. Nah, I'm going to go back and day trade crypto. Nobody. Everybody's like, wow. Yeah, I'm never touching that other stuff. Futures are awesome because futures move. So futures, yes, they're volatile. They move great, but they also offer you a good ability to control it because every contract has kind of like a little brother contract that is a bit less volatile, which is where you would want to start. And this is also the reason don't go trade futures in Webull because that means that's your own money at risk. And because of this fact right here, your own money could be gone just like that. That is why I'm sitting here preaching and telling people, make sure you do Pam's plan. Pam's is, yes, that's why you should day trade futures, but do it in a prop firm. Because with a prop firm, your risk is way, way, way less. Yeah, and a good place to start is the MNQ. Start on the MNQ. And if you think that's just way too slow for you, then go to the NQ and don't worry. The NQ will knock your socks off. Yeah, exactly. Jeremy says there's no pump and dumps in futures. There is no trading halts. Exactly. The close to making money like futures are zero DTEs, but no. Zero DTEs is literally mathematically terrible. But yes, we are in agreement, but it still falls short of futures trading because why does it fall short? Why is day trading options just pure and utter garbage, especially zero DTE? Well, where did it go? So like when you buy an option, for you options day traders, why is this guy saying that I'm being inefficient when I'm day trading options? Because when you buy an option, obvious way to make money is you buy, it goes up, fine. All right, easy enough, you made money. Obvious way of how you lose money, it goes down. Okay, yeah, I bought it, I want it to go up, you lose money. It goes sideways. Now the rational person is going to say, okay, well, it goes sideways, because that's what anything can do. Whether it's a piece of real estate, whether it's a stock, whether it's an option, prices, things with value can either go up, go down, or go sideways. So the rational person said, well, that's the neutral spot. Doesn't go up, doesn't go down. But in options, not so. You lose money. How is that possible? Well, there is this thing out there called theta. And theta means that if something goes sideways, you are losing money. So think about it. In the world of options trading, of the three things that the value can do, two of those three things causes you to lose money, which means you have a 67% chance of losing money every time you buy an option. Now, you may be saying, but Clay, I make money day trading options. That's actually really impressive. But remember, Pam's plan is not an argument that you can't make money day trading other things. It's an argument of efficiency. It's an argument of let's work smarter, not harder. And you are working harder, not smarter, if you're out there with a 67% chance. So my pushback to you would be like, but Clay, I make money. Okay, my question, imagine how much money you would have made. Imagine how much money you would be making if you could get rid of theta. Not to mention futures move way better than options anyways, but let's just assume they move equally. Well, guess what? In the world of in the world of futures, you get to say goodbye to theta. There is no theta. Yes, both are contracts. You have options contracts, you have futures contracts. And again, we'll just assume that they both move equally as well, even though that's not true. Futures move way better. But assuming both move equally as well, Futures just crush options because there's no theta. There's no theta. So, and then zero DTE options, which is what Tech brought up, then that theta is just expedited that much more. And it is absolutely wild. So, yeah, it literally, again, mathematically, as I just showed, doesn't make any sense. Why would you take on something where you have a 67% chance of losing money? It just don't make much sense, brother. Yes, that's where you would want to start. MNQ. But I'm very worried for you, Mosab. I'm getting the impression you're going to go start to do this in your Webull account. Don't do that. Don't do that because futures move, and they move very, very quickly. Do all this in a prop firm. The prop firm that I use, that I recommend, the link's at the top of the screen in order to get the discount, 30% off, $0 activation fee. And if you like the channel, you want to support it, use code CLAY. Well, I don't... Right here. Oh, you got to type a backslash. I forgot. Backslash MNQ. There it is, right there. Don't look at these numbers. Wait, I can't afford anything. You're looking at the wrong thing. Because with the prop firm, for the 105, if you, like bare minimum, 25K in purchase power, for the 105, you can buy 3 of those very volatile contracts. So that's all you need to know. Well, how much is it going to cost? I don't have $21,000. Again, this is not measured in dollars and cents. These are just points. Things move in points. So you should treat your end of day drawdown like the amount you have to. Correct. Yeah, Prince. That's why I do my best to not call this a $25,000 account. I try to do my best to always say this is 25K in purchasing power because the size of your account is technically how much they'll let you lose. So in this situation, you're essentially, it's a $1,500 size account, but you get 25K in purchasing power because if you lose more than $1,500, then account gone. So yes, I always try my best to not say 25,000 account because that makes it sound like, oh, so you can lose 25,000. Well, no, that's just 25,000 of purchasing power. The amount that you're, within this size would be size of purchasing power would be 1,500. And then on the other end of the spectrum, with 150K purchasing power, you'd be allowed to lose 4,500. Give you the time and education to build a personal account and eventually trade. Yeah, Tech, I guess, but why? Like, the traders in my community that are way better than me, they're like, but Clay, why would I ever trade with my personal funds? Why should I risk my personal funds? Like, what happens if Trump tweets something? Like, do I really want to risk my personal funds just evaporating just like that? So, no, I respectfully disagree. I don't think that should be your goal. Like, the goal should just be like, hey. Now, the one thing here is some people might say, well, Clay, prop firms don't make any sense because look at this. In the prop firm, you only get to keep 80% of your gains. Or in the Pro Plus, you only get to keep 90% of your gains. If I use my own money, prop firms have their limitations. No, not really. So, but the argument would be like, but if I use my own money, then I get to keep 100% of my gains. That's true, but let me ask, and I'm asking all of you this question. What else? When will the code discount expire or end? Unknown. I don't know, JJ. I guess in theory it could end tomorrow, but the keyword being in theory. I don't have any inside information, so I can't say for that. But anyways, so if somebody says, well, Clay, I want to use my own money because I get to keep 100% of my gains. You also get to keep 100% of something else. What is this something else that you get to keep 100% of? Again, it's true. You get to keep 100% of your gains. You also get to keep 100% of something else. What is this something else that you also get to keep? Does anybody know? Can anybody connect the dots? Are you talking to me? What did you say? No. Can you go downstairs? You're making me self-conscious now. Sorry, I'm talking to my wife. We're in a temporary house. we just moved. We're going to build a house. We're in a temporary house. This house happens to have paper-thin walls, so my wife and I can talk between rooms with no problem because it's paper-thin walls. So she's in here answering these questions, and she didn't get it right, though. Yes, you also get to keep 100% of the losses. You keep 100% of the risk. And to me, given this is a game of risk management, of risk control, it is well worth it. You know what? I'll sacrifice some of my gains by only keeping 80% or only keeping 90% if I don't have all this risk where I don't have to take 100% of the risk. Because if you have a bad day where you go on tilt, or again, maybe you're not even having a bad day. Maybe Trump tweets something and poof. Well, that's what stop loss are for. Yeah, but everything has its limitations. Even in futures, very tight spreads. But when crazy stuff happens, boy, those spreads can open up and you can get crazy slippage. So if a Trump tweet happens, I'd rather have it in the context of a prop firm where, yeah, maybe you lose your account. But again, when I say lose your account, does that actually mean you lost thousands and thousands of dollars? No, it doesn't. It means you lost a couple $100s at most. Whereas if you're using your own money and poof, that $4,000 loss maybe cost you your account in the prop firm world, but the $4,000 loss if you're using your own funds is, well, $4,000 of your own funds. So yeah, I just don't. To me, the math doesn't make sense. Well, I want to keep 100% of my gains. Yeah, but do you really want to keep 100% of your losses, especially in this environment with Trump? Like the Trump trading world is crazy because we all now know at any moment he could tweet something, he could have an impromptu press conference, or he could be having a press conference or something, and then he goes off script and starts talking about who knows what, and then that can impact the markets. So quite frankly, I think you're borderline crazy to be trading in a wild, wild market that we're in right now without the context of a prop firm. Because, man, that scares me to just think that I could be, and I don't say this to brag, but I just show it to build context of where I'm coming from. All right, let's see. Did I not show it in this one? Let me. Doggone it. I promise there's a point between this. I promise there's a point here. That's the problem with having hundreds of videos now over the years. Let's see. No, come on. Okay, here we go. Nope, let's go back to it. I don't know how well this shows up, but this was back in my, stock trading days, options trading days. I am a former day trader of stocks and options, no more. And this is one of the reasons. So here's my account balances. Again, I don't say any of this I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying, this also shows the scalability issues. Like, to make it worthwhile day trading stocks and options, not options per se, but stocks, you kind of need just more money because, to buy 100 shares of Tesla isn't exactly cheap. But anyways, so here's my account, up over $100,000. But the thought of putting that kind of money into a trade, no, it's not like I ever put $100,000 in. Well, I guess I take that back because this was all leveraged by 4-to-1. So I would have $400,000 of buying power. But to put on a leveraged trade of, let's say, $150,000 in this environment where Trump could tweet something and that could be poof, literally multiple thousands of dollars gone just like that. Man, that is just sketchy. Yeah, that kind of freaks me out. But again, with the prop firm world, something like that happens, and yeah, maybe you lose your account, but you're out a couple $100 at most. I think that's just such a good argument. Like Trump is a great salesman for the world of Pam's plant, because to be trading with your own funds, I think that's just crazy. Like that's wild. So yeah, I don't really think that I don't think a good goal is I want to do all this so I can get to my person. No, I know like there's some people out there that like there's this perception like, oh, I'm legit. Oh, you're a prop firm trader? I use my own funds. It's like all those people are doing is like bragging about their inability of understanding math. Like, so you're bragging that you're risking way more money than you actually need to. Like, I'm not quite sure. Like, I get it. For the surface level, like ego bro, oh bro, yeah, man. Like, okay. But like for just a halfway intellectual brain, it's like, so you're talking trash to a bunch of people that understand math? Like, I don't understand that. Like, so I do understand there is this perception like, man, if you trade your own funds and you're actually legit. It's like, no, like I said, in my community, there are some really, really good traders way better than I am. And they're like, dude, why would I risk my funds? Tell me how mathematically makes any sense. It doesn't. So they're with prop firms. So yes, there's a lot of egos out there. Don't fall into the trap of how like somehow you're a lesser of a trader because you're using a prop firm. And I've had, people show up on the live stream like, is this prop firm trader? Yeah. Loser. It's like, okay, good job bragging about how you don't understand basic math. It says a lot to have the confidence to trade with. Yeah, no, Lance, you literally just took an ego position. Like, but I have enough confidence. That's Lance, you just literally, that's my point. But it says a lot about that person that they have a lot of confidence. Or stupid. No, that's pure ego. But that's what you just meant. It says a lot to have the confidence to trade personal funds though. No, I don't think it does. I think it just shows an ego where like you are trying to impress people because you have enough funds or you can. But you certainly can't make a mathematical argument for it. You can make a emotional argument for it. Well, look how confident I am. Look how good I am. Look how capable I am. Those are all me emotional arguments. Like, or you could just make the math argument. Why risk my own funds when I don't actually need to? Sure, that does come with kind of the ego hit of, well, I guess then I got to call myself a prop firm trader. It's like, that's an ego problem. Like if your sole purpose is to, I don't want to have to call myself a prop firm trader. It's like, okay, I'm telling you that's strictly ego. That's not math, because the math doesn't suggest that there's any, again, the math does suggest, well, at least you get to keep 100% of your gains. But on the flip side of that, as we already discovered, yeah, but you also keep 100% of your losses. Or maybe they're just that good. That's true. Yeah. If you are the flawless, perfect trader that never goes on tilt, that never breaks rules, that never FOMOs, that never revenge trades, that never, just has a bad day. If you are one of those flawlessly perfect traders, then you're right. Definitely don't use a prop firm because you just don't lose money. Therefore, that's true. That's true. That's fair. I trade my own money. There are a lot of rules and BS which designed to make people lose. There are a lot. No, there's not a lot of. Some prop firms, there are a lot of rules, but other ones, there are not a lot of rules. I knew it. I knew Mossab this whole time. I was like, I gotta tread careful with this guy. Knew he was gonna be one of these guys where it's just like, yeah. I know. To be fair though, yeah, some prop firms do, but take Private Trader, very clean set of rules. Surely, Moab, if you're as good of a trader as what you're kind of thinking or trying to make yourself out to be, surely you can manage these rules. Surely you could sign up for, let's just say, the 50K. Again, you're talking a big game. Surely within a month you could make 3,000 and not lose 2,000. Like, you could do that, right? And some even if you, yeah, that's true. But Mossab, listen, the ones I have two prop firms. I'm not a live streamer that has 37 different affiliate codes because I refer them as fast as they come about. I have two. And the two that I have is because there's a proven track record of paying, and Take Profit Trader, this one here, has paid me, and they paid me multiple times. So you are somehow making some sort of general blanket statement to appease your mind, because you know this makes sense. You know the math I've explained makes sense. So now you're trying to work around it. Well, they have too many rules. Well, no, some of them do, but not all of them. Well, some of them don't pay. Yes, some of them don't, but some of them do. Okay. So this is his way to rationalize why he wants to keep doing something inefficient. Yes, I am conceding there are some bad prop firms out there, but the two that I'm recommending have a track record of paying. They paid. They didn't just show up last week. So yes, you're using like a general idea. Basically what you're saying is, man, people get hit by cars, so I'm not leaving the house anymore. It's like, okay, that's true. There are some people, but like, if you have a provable way to go outside, you're probably not going to get hit by a car. These two prop firms are established. The rules are to protect you. And, well, I mean, no, to be fair to him, some prop firms, I mean, they have rules all over the place. And it's like, wait, what? But that's why I say for beginners, Take Profit Trader is the way to go. But Mossab, he wants to go act like a degen if he wants to act like a degen. That's what he's saying. I don't want rules. I don't want the rules. I want to be able to go and do whatever I want. Translation, yeah, if I want to lose my mind, let me lose my mind. But thank you for the thoughts. They pay you because you're... No. Okay, Mossab, all you have to do, if your theory is correct, that they're just scamming and they're not paying anybody, go on Twitter, go on research, and research Take Profit Trader. I assure you, that's why somebody like, well, I think prop firms should be regulated. Not really. The free market will regulate them just fine. Because if a prop firm starts not paying people, it will be news. Everybody on social media in the prop firm world will be talking about it. It's not good. So go ahead, Mossab, go do some research. See if there's any sort of fire right now out there about Take Profit Trader not paying people. They only pay famous people. You're not going to find it. Again, just more and more excuses of why this guy, he knows deep down. I pricked his psyche. How did I prick it? Because I used basic math. But he's like, but I want to obey my own rules. I want to, and he's just coming up with like some of the worst, yeah, he's stripping. Like this is terrible logic at this point. Yeah, good call, Manuel. It would be all over Reddit if they don't pay. Exactly. It's like a self-governing, a self-regulating body. The free market, the consumer base, there will be an uprising. It will be very, very obvious if there is a scam prop firm out there, because they're going to be like, hey, they're not paying. They didn't pay me. But you're not going to find that with Take Profit Trader. They pay. And they paid, quote unquote, non-famous people. So, I mean, just say that you don't like the rules because you want to behave like a degen when you feel like it. That's all you got to do. You don't have to tell us all these very poorly logic excuses. Does being an affiliate give you any benefits? Do you think they treat you? Yes, I do have. So thank you, everybody here. Thank you to community members. I do have leverage. If there are issues, then like for the members of my private community, if there's ever like a customer service issue and they're not getting the most timely of replies, then I can email my contact there and it gets taken care of very quickly. So yes, I do have leverage in that sense. But in that sense, like I have a little bit more efficiency in terms of the customer service route. Hey, Melvis, good to see you. Due diligence. Yeah, exactly, Richard. I mean, you can go research these. These are the two that I recommend. Apex, you will find stuff out there that calls them a scam. They're not a scam. What is causing them to come across that way is you have beginners that start off in Apex. And as a beginner to the prop firm world, I can totally understand how Apex could come across like a scam. They're not. That's why I'm saying only go with Apex if you are intermediate or advanced prop firm trader. But when you're Take Profit Trader is the best anyway. So whatever category you're in, beginner, intermediate, or advanced, you should at least, like if you're advanced prop firm trader and you've never tried Take Profit, definitely worth a try. I think you're really going to love them, especially with their payment policy, their clean set of rules. But if you're a beginner, definitely start with Take Profit Trader because of their clean set of rules, great payment policy, all of that. So yes, in research, Apex can come across. There are people out there that claim them to be a scam. But what they're not telling you is they're just a beginner to the prop firm world. They got way too far ahead of themselves, and then they just got kind of chewed up by the machine. But so yes, that's why these are the only 2 I recommend, and then that's how I break it down in those categories for that reason. But yes, Apex definitely has plenty of scam, stuff out there, but they're not. They're only, that's coming from beginners that don't know what they're doing, that don't understand the rules. And when I say beginners, I don't mean beginner traders. I just mean beginner prop firm traders. Can you upgrade accounts? Let's say you start with no. If you want to do 150K, you got to pass 150K test, which makes perfect sense because each purchasing power account has different requirements. So no, Todd, that would be nice if you could do kind of the 25K and then all of a sudden say, I want the 150K. Can I upgrade? No, you can't. I have zero interest in starting a prop firm. I can only imagine. Even the stuff I get with claytrader.com, some of these, let me put it, there's a saying out there, the customer is always right. No. Sometimes the customer is so just like, you're not even in the realm of reason. You're not even in the realm of anything right now. Like, what are you talking about? So I could only imagine some of the customers that they come across. No way. Man, I'm 70% year to date. I know what I'm talking about. Trading your own money gives you no percent max losses, no max. No dollar cost. Yeah, exactly. Like I literally called it. You want to behave like a degen when you behave like degen. And 74% is weak sauce. Weak sauce. Because here's how that's weak sauce. Mossab, can I have your permission to rain on your 70%, 74% number? Let me know if I have permission to rain on that number and make it look really bad. I don't know who you are, Igor, but yeah. I'm not going to put up you spamming other stuff. Okay, cool. So you're 74%. Okay, well, let's just assume that's true. But Mossab, and I realize Mossab, he's built in. He's one of these people that's never going to listen. Yeah, I don't know what Mossab is. He showed up like not knowing the difference between stocks and futures, and then I don't know. Then he's talking about Webull. Yeah, were you asking about Webull? Yeah, what he didn't know what ticker to type in. He's using Webull. Again, no offense to Webull, but that's like the platform of total beginners. So excuse me that I'm very skeptical of your 74% returns. Do you always scalp the 930 candle? Nope, not always. Always is a very strong word, so no. Odds are, if you ask me any question with the word always in it, probably going to be a no. Hey, Trader Girl from Long Island. Okay, so, Mossab, 74%. Okay, well, I don't know. I don't think, is Nathan here? I don't think Nathan's here. But Nathan, or actually, no, let's do this. So, because Mark, he's not here, but he's a student of my program. He's a member of the private community, and I say that because the community, we have a chat room, and within the chat room, you can post images. So he's posted these images. He's showing all this sort of stuff. So within his, now he uses multiple companies, but one of them being Take Profit Trader, but he paid let's make this a little bit more. Where are we at time-wise? All right, we're still doing pretty good on time. So Mark, he bought $1,500 worth of accounts. Okay, so that's his investment. He is investing $1,500. That's his amount at risk. $1,500. I was in your... Yeah. Okay, Todd. I thought that name looked somewhat familiar. You did maintain the gains. Awesome. Yeah, I thought... Okay. Or maybe that's just confirmation bias on my part now. But cool. But yes, Todd, sorry. You're not able to upgrade accounts, unfortunately. That would be cool, though. But anyways. So... I'm doing this right now, Mossab. So calm down, Webull Trader. Calm down. Okay. So Mark, again, all posted the pictures, posted the payouts, everything true. He spent $1,500 on prop firm accounts. And so that was his investment. He invested $1,500. He then went and at the time, and this was a couple weeks ago, he had gotten $25,000 paid to him across all. So $1,500 gets you a lot of accounts, just as an FYI. Then you can start to do copy trading, which I've already talked about. So yeah, $1,500 gives you a whole lot of accounts. You don't need $1,500 to get started, but he was buying multiple accounts at multiple prop firms. But he got himself paid $25,000. Again, his doggone it. To $25,000. Like I said, anybody that is a member of the private community, if you were around, you saw Mark posting all these images saying, hey, here's the payouts here. Here's how much I'm due from this term, blah, blah, blah. All that is right there. So let's do some math now. So again, the 25,000 can continue to grow because he still had these accounts. It's not like he blew them up or anything like that. So here he's at 25,000 and he started with 1,500. So we've got a -1 and then time this by 100 to turn it into a percentage. That's 1,500% return on and this happened, I don't know, in 3 months. So with all due respect, your 75% is nothing. And you're talking a big game, Osab. You seem to feel pretty good about yourself. So here you go. Okay, so anyways. So for anybody that wants to listen, this is the scalability. We have Webull Trader here that keeps deflecting. Well, now show us mine. Let's just assume mine is 0. Let's just assume that's the case. What does that have to do with this being true? This being possible, this being the math? And again, I to be fair to Mosab, I understand he wasn't in the community, so he didn't see these pictures. So from his point of view, I could be making all this up. That's fair enough. But like I said, for anybody that just kind of wants to, and really, you don't have to take my word for it. There's one guy got $2.2 million in payouts. And let's just assume that guy had $50,000 in. Again, and this is public knowledge. Now, a lot of people know exactly who I'm talking about, who got $2.2 million. And let's just go this. So he got $2.2 million in payouts. Again, this is all public. And let's just say he had $100,000 in. I don't know if that's true or not. I have no idea. So, and then we got a -100, or I'm sorry, -1 times 100. So there you go. He had a 2,100% return. So 75% return, nobody cares. That's nothing. Correct. Yeah. Again, the math is right here. If you are so good, Mosab, you're talking a big game. You got the nice avatar of some dude in a suit. If you're so good, then take $105, pass the test, and then go and get $5,000 in payouts. Again, your risk is $105, Mosab. Talk a big game. So if you're so good, go pass a test, and then get $5,000 in payouts. Let's not even do that. Let's just do $2,500 in payouts. So if you get $2,500 in payouts and your cost, your investment up front was just $105, divided by 105, -1 times 100, you'd be looking at a 2,200% return. So that is the worst. Mosab, okay, Mosab, I'm done with you because that's the worst logic. They might get lucky here and there. Well, I can say the same thing about you. You're 75% turn. Maybe you just got lucky. Do you see how that doesn't prove anything? Because I can say the same thing back to you. Do you notice how I'm presenting the math and you're just presenting what if this, what if that? Well, they might just got lucky, which is, again, terrible argumentation. Because we can all just say to you about your 74% gains. Well, maybe you just got lucky. So anyways, thank you for the discussion. I tried. Hopefully, I realized I'm not going to convince you of anything. But maybe somebody listening in is like, oh, wow, yeah, those numbers are crazy. This is scam-like numbers. But that's literally how it works. And that, again, but that's why I also say pass your test within a month because this is a monthly fee. You can take as long as you want to pass that test. Again, the test for the 25K, make $1,500, but don't lose $1,500. So you can take as long as you want, but get it done within a month so you don't have to pay this again. Because once you make the jump from the test into the pro account here, there are no more monthly fees. So, but yeah, that's literally your risk. Your risk is the cost of the account. So if you can go that and then you go on a hot streak, well, then there you go. Where are we at time-wise? Almost at 2 hours. Have I tried the TradingView app? I use TradingView. I've never tried the app or anything like that. Saturday, I swear, Saturdays, we always get somebody like Mossab. I don't know how they arrive. I don't know, maybe he's sitting out on his private island right now with his Webull account, and he just got a suggestion for a live stream. But I swear, we always get somebody that's just, they want to dig in. And you can tell the math pricks their mind, and then they try to push back, but then they start making a bunch of irrational, poor arguments. But I swear, every live stream, we have a Saturday live stream, we have somebody like Mossab. But anyways, so that is the math. And can we get this up to maybe 75 likes? Again, I'm not ripping on Webull. Like, if you're a brand new beginner and you're I use Webull charts. So these are Webull charts. I don't have anything against Webull per se. I love their charts. I use their charts. These are Webull charts. All I'm saying is, like, when you show up and you talk a big game and you're basically behaving like Mossab, but it's like, dude, you're in a Webull account. Like, there's a detachment. Like, again, let me be very clear. If you are in a Webull account, that's fine, because you're not out here acting like Mossab. That's where the head shake becomes. The head shake isn't necessarily because of Webull. It's because, he's presenting and acting as he is. Is TradingView Plus, or I'm not sure what you mean by that. Yeah, no. I again, legitimate traders, like in the day trading world, like Mossab, the way Mossab is talking, the picture, he's got the tie, like he would be with a direct access broker. He probably doesn't even know what a direct access broker is. But like there is a point where when you reach that level, like it just makes sense to be in a direct access broker, to which Webull is not. Robinhood is not. That's why they can charge free commissions, because it's not free. They're selling your order flow and stuff like that. But direct access, you do pay a commission. So like this is a direct access broker. And this is who I used to use before I moved to Pam's plant. So like this is, I guess you can go and see Webull, or who is that good looking fella? So like this right here is whoops. So this is a direct access broker. Like, again, just because you have a direct access doesn't mean you are legit. All I'm saying is, if you're showing up, acting like Mossab, behaving like Mossab, making all the claims to Mossab, and then we hear you're on Webull, it's like, okay, buddy. Again, Mossab, this is how your argument fails. I'll just assume, for argument's sake, I don't make any money. My year-to-date is negative 30%. Let's just assume that's the case. What does that have to do with what I've shown you of how the model works? Like, what is it? That doesn't do anything. Like, that's how the model works. All you would be proving in this situation is, I don't know how to trade. That's all that would you be proving. But that has nothing to do with how the math actually works. And you don't have to take my word for it. Go search social media. There are people out there that are crushing it in prop firms. So like I said, don't believe me. I'll just assume I'm a terrible trader. I don't make any money. That has nothing to do. That's called ad hominem, because you don't have anything to the actual argument. That's what I mean. You have zero logic left. So this is, okay, we're going to philosophy class real quick. Philosophy 101 real quick. Logical fallacy. This is what Musaf's doing. Ad hominem is a logical fallacy where someone attacks the person. Hey, let me see your year-to-date. Let me see attacks a person instead of the argument itself. Person attacking an argument instead of addressing the argument itself. So, got to do better than that. You got to do better than that. And like I said, it's not like it takes a little bit of research. Some people are out there, they're crushing it. They're doing very well with prop firms. There's people, like I said, in my community but Mossab, his ego is hurt right now because I just blew a 74%. He was feeling, that's why I asked you, Mossab, do I have your permission? Because I told you I was going to rain on your parade. But at the end of the day, Mossab, This is the point. I'm not the one claiming all these great gains. I'm not the one claiming to be a great trader. I'm not the one claiming that. That's you, buddy. That's you. You're the one making all these claims about how you're a great trader. Okay, I remind him of somebody else. Notice the ad hominem. What does that have to do with any arguments? And so I don't like other people. So again, notice the ad hominem. That's the sign of a failing argument. But again, you're the one making all these claims about how good you are. And that's fine. If you're that confident in yourself, then what are you so scared about? You can't risk $105? Like you can't go get $105? No, because you know you can't do it because you're not actually a good trader. That's why. That's why. So you're coming with every excuse in the book. You're not addressing arguments. You're attacking me. But I'm the one that's saying I'm a terrible trader. What does that have to do with whether or not this is true? What does that have to do with whether or not you can pay $105, pass the test, and then go start to make money, and your entire investment the whole time is $105? It don't, brother. Sorry if this has been said 1,000 times. I just joined the stream. What is the basic steps for Pam's plant? Well, it's Pam's plant. Hey, Tamp Panda, you have been here so many times. You're still not doing it? You're still not doing it. I recognize the name. Come on, Tamp Panda. Are you still here before I answer? Because I realized you asked this a little while ago. Do you use a journal app? I do not. I do not. I will say that I was impressed by... I can never remember. Let me bring this up. I don't use him, but I was impressed. I was impressed by him. TraderView. TraderView was good. I don't know if this, fair warning, I'll send you the link here. I don't know if it's still active, but I think if you click on this link, yeah, Clay Trader, maybe the deal's still active, but it's like a 25% discount. Who asked that? Two Funkalicious. So if you use this link, maybe you'll get 25% off. I'm not quite sure. I don't know. I don't know if my, but I will say I don't use them. Like I said, I was putzing around with them because they were like, hey, can we set up some sort of affiliate? I said, sure. But it was really good. He doesn't. Oh, yeah. He's the typical stuff here. Oh, my math without. Oh, Mossab is very good for the video I'm going to do after this. Because this is what he's going to do. He's going to rag on these results. But watch out back. I don't even know if he's still here. So I was talking about this earlier, but like Mossab is like the perfect person. So he wants to see some of my results. Okay, here we go. So I was talking about this earlier. This is one of my pro accounts. So I'm now eligible. So let's just say that this is not my account, but... Okay, Tamp Binder. Where can I go to find out about Pam's plant? Well, Pam's plant is just this. Okay, that's where I recognize your name from, the YouTube comment. You have commented on YouTube videos before. But right here is Pam's plant. It's just my own invention. It's an argument of why day trading futures through a prop firm is the most efficient way to go about it. So yeah, if you want to get started, just go to the link that you see at the top of the screen. Or I also pinned a message. If you go on that, that'll take you to Take Profit Trader, which is the prop firm that I'm using and recommending. And then, use code CLAY. That'll give you the 30% off and then $0 activation fee. And yeah, so that's how you get started. You choose a purchasing power, the platform that I use. So during the checkout process, I'm using Tradeovate. So yeah, that's what Pam's plan is in a nutshell. It's just an argument, a day trading strategy of how the most efficient way to approach day trading is day trading futures through a prop firm. So that's what it is right there. But anyways, so show some live results. So this is actually perfect because I was talking about this earlier. So here are some results that as of Friday, and let's just say that these are, your results. So I am now eligible for $400 in a payment. Now, I think there's probably maybe some of you, I hope some of you are saying this. I hope Mossab is saying this. $400, that's it? You're only getting paid $400. I saw such and such make $4,000. I saw such and such make $400,000. $400, dude, that's really bad. That's really unimpressive. Like, I don't know if I'd want to talk about that publicly. That is very not impressive. Good. Thank you for thinking that way. So let's think about the power prop firms. So if this was your account and you were eligible to get $400 sent to you, well, what is that telling you as far as your prop firm journey is going? Well, this is on a 150 account, and a 150K purchasing power account would have cost you $252. So let's think about what these very unimpressive, what these very bad, what these very negative results, non-impressive results actually accomplished. Well, non-impressive results repaid you back your risk. Because again, that's your ultimate risk, is $250. Not only did it repay you back your risk of $250, but because it's $400, you still have $150 of pure profit now in your pocket. So now moving forward, because you would still have the pro account, I haven't lost it, I haven't violated the rules. Any money you make from this point is literally pure profit. So even from a percent standpoint, let's look at this. So I'm up 400, but I did, so if this was you, you're up 400, and then you pay the 252 for the account. Okay, so 148. You're up 148. So let's see. You're up 148. Divide by, let me see something over here real quick. Where'd my calculator go? There we go. So yeah, I'm up 148. Divide that by my cost, which was 252, and then multiply that by 100. I think I did the math right there. Yeah, right. I'm at a 58.7% return. And again, this is all based on unimpressive results. So the point here is that, yeah, that's the whole idea of prop firms, is you don't need super. Now, let's just say that that result was $5,000 that I'm getting for a payout. But then you look at that number and it's like $4,500. It's like, wow, man, you got to make $4,500 just to but no, I'm already up. Unimpressive results, $400. If this was your account, like I said, if you're up 400, eligible for an unimpressive payment of $400, you got your cost recouped, and now everything from here is just gravy on top. You're totally playing with house money. You have zero risk from this point forward in the journey. So that's the whole point. That's the whole point. So there you go, Mosab. There's some personal results. I'm only getting $400, or I'm only eligible for a payment of $400. But if this were you, Mosab, guess what, buddy? You'd have your risk off the table. Because if you spent that $252, that risk has been paid for now. And plus you got $150 extra. So it's all house money from this point forward. Like, that is the power of the leverage of the prop firms. So yes, that's why the name of this video is going to be A Small Payment Gives Us Big Proof. The big proof being just how awesome prop firms are, how much leverage they can give you. Okay. Okay. Technically speaking, these are before taxes. So fair enough. Is it going to actually be 400? It's not. But also, Trader Girl, the 250 would be a tax write-off too, because it's the cost. So I always love people like, well, what about the taxes? Can we boil this down to the actual penny? Do you get the general idea, Trader Girl? Do you get the general idea that I'm trying to convey? Unimpressive results actually have very far-reaching implications when you look at just the prop firm and how it's set up in general. Do you at least understand that, Trader Girl? The general implication that I'm trying to convey. Okay, got it. Probably makes... I already drank my coffee this morning, but... Oh, Moab is whatever. We get a classic. Such a big game. I love how people talk such a big game. And then it's like, dude, that's great. I'm glad you're so confident. I'm glad you're supposedly such a great trader. Here's the truth of Moab. He's actually a degen, and he's tried multiple challenges. He can't pass them. So instead of blaming the guy in the mirror, what is he blaming? He's blaming the rules. Well, the rules are too hard. Well, what are the rules designed to do? Make you manage risk. So Moab does not manage risk. He doesn't want to admit that, though. He wants to, well, it's the rules' fault. That's why I can't pass it. That's I can't say for sure. I'm at 90% sure that's his story. That's why he's so jaded. Because his logic is, well, I failed, therefore it's impossible. which is always like, talk about world revolves around me logic. It's like when people show up, I failed at day trading, therefore all you day traders are losers and wasting your time because it's impossible. But I do a great job at swing trading. Here's my result at swing trading. I'm like, do you not realize that I could say the same thing about you? I failed at swing trading, therefore you're a loser, wasting your time swing trading because swing trading doesn't work. Like, that's such bad logic. I appreciate you taking the time every weekend, including Saturday. Yeah, thanks. Well, these were fun. Well, the nice thing about Mossab is why do you engage with people like that? Because I know others are actually open-minded and interested in learning. So those sorts of discussions open up, learning opportunities. Clay, where are you from? I grew up in Ohio, then lived in Michigan for 10 years, and then we just moved to Iowa about back in August. So, wow, time's flying. Almost a year ago. Yeah. So like I said, again, what's the buffer? The buffer is just the amount that you have to make. So if your drawdown is 2,000, you've got to make 2,000, and then anything above 2,000 is because 2,000 is your buffer. Anything above there, you would then be able to be paid. So if you've learned anything, if you're not like, wow, I want to get into Pam's plant, the prop firms that I recommend, again, Take Profit Trader. Whether you're beginner, intermediate, or advanced, check them out, use them. And then if you are already a battle-hardened prop firm trader and you're just looking to support the channel, if you're battle-hardened, you've already heard of Take Profit Trader. You've already heard of Apex Trader. But if you're like, hey, I appreciate this, Clay. How can I support the channel? And also, get the promotions because Code Clay does give you the current promotions and all that. But yeah, just use Code Clay on either of those. And it really does help, and I thank you in advance. But I'm going to go ahead and move on with my Saturday. I like to keep these right around the 2-hour mark. We went a little bit above, but with that discussion with Moab, that was definitely worthwhile. So I hope you all have a great rest of your weekend. For all of you dads out there, happy Father's Day. Have a great day. Appreciate what you do as a father, as a dad, as a father of 6 kids myself. Sometimes there's no perfect dads. I'm not perfect. You're probably not perfect, but hopefully we're all striving to do our best. But yes, being a father is a very important job. I won't go on my little tangent, but we carry a lot of responsibilities on our shoulders. So for you dads out there, keep it up. Keep it up. Happy Father's Day. Everybody have a great weekend. And for those of you that hang out in the live stream, I'll be back Monday at 11 a.m. at the very latest. So on your way out, if you don't mind, hit that like button. And also be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications so that you're made aware of when I do go live. Sometimes, especially the Saturday ones, I kind of pop up whenever. But by having the notifications on or by subscribing and turn on the notifications, then you'll be made aware of that. So everybody, like I said, have a great weekend. Happy Father's Day. And I'll see you back on Monday.